I was in Tempe, Arizona last night for Arizona State's win over Brigham Young. What a great trip. I'd never been there before. Have you guys been there before? Like in the live chat, yes or no, have you been there before? I don't think most of you have. Now, I met a lot of folks who watch the show that are out there. You need to go out there. You guys, especially late in the year, it was 82 degrees at kickoff yesterday. Absolutely zero humidity. I mean, I could have snapped my fingers and started a fire on the sideline. It was so dry. It was perfect. It was great. And it was a red letter day. It was a red letter day in Tempe. I give it 3.5 Chalai on the 1 to 5 scale. 28 to 23 was the final. A red letter day is the kind of day in your life that you look back on years later and say, that right there was an important day. Like this right here was an important day for Arizona State football. It was an important day for like Graham Rossini, the AD there on the field. It was an important day for Kenny Dillingham. It was an important day for those players. But it was an important day for the program. I grew up in, as I have told you many a time, very rural Georgia. I knew about the SEC. I knew about Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, those kinds of teams. I knew about USC. I always had a very weird fascination with Arizona State and Texas A&M, which at the time was not an SEC team. I used to always think, why don't those programs win more? Who knows? So I go on about my business, live my life. This is my first opportunity to really go out there. I see what they mean. I see what I thought I meant about Arizona State all these years. Nothing holds that place back from being a winner except that place. There's nothing that you need that's not there, although it could be there in more abundance, which I think will come with wins like this. But there's a lot of stuff you cannot get elsewhere that's there. There is great weather. There's a passionate fan base. There's talent. How should I put this? Talent of all kinds that greatly helps in recruiting. It's an amazing place. And then you cap it off with a win from a program that was left for dead like 24 months ago. It was almost like the car's going off the cliff. Here, Dillingham will take the wheel. Oh, look, he swerved. He got back on the road. Hey, how did he do that? Hey, when you've got what I call competitive ignorance, you don't know any better. Like you take over a program that's been left for dead, and Herm Edwards just blowtorches the place on his way out. Every sanction imaginable's floating over your head. Oh, Kenny's from here. He'll take it. He'll ride us through the dark days. No, he'll just turn on the light. He's just turned on the light. He said, look, he's turned on the light. They were picked next to last in the Big 12 this year. They are probably going to the Big 12 championship game. And Cam Scattaboo yesterday, 28 carries, 147 yards. Jordan Tyson, I am telling you, Brigham Young thought they had an answer for him, and they did not. 9 catches, 125 yards. They've gone from 3-9 to 9-2. I know a lot of you disagree with me when I say the Big 12 is America's college football conference, but the reason I call it that, a lot of you are new around here, the reason I call the Big 12 America's college football conference is I listen to you. A lot of you have complained about competitive imbalance in the sport, although this year it looks a lot different. But historically, what have you complained about? I'm describing most of you. I know because I talked to a lot of you. You've said, I don't like the same few teams winning. You don't like all the roster churn. A lot of you don't like how full the transfer portal is every cycle. You don't like hypocritical coaches who preach loyalty to a program, but then a third of them move every single year. And so you would like there to be a more loyal adherence to what college football was for you growing up. It's the Big 12. That's what the Big 12's like. And it's so topsy-turvy. Last place can win the conference. First place, Utah was finished first, or they were picked to finish first. Utah had the best odds to win this thing. They're not even going to go bowling. Kansas State was next. Oklahoma State has no pulse. Oklahoma State was picked to finish third. That's competitive balance. That's parity. That's any given Saturday. And they're delivering it like every week in the Big 12. And what disappoints me, I've called some of you out privately on this. What disappoints me is you guys have claimed you want all these things. And when I credit the Big 12 and I call it America's College Football Conference, you guys shoot it down. Oh, that's not being played at the same level as the Big 10. Well, who cares? Whoever said it was, by the way. Well, that doesn't compare to the SEC. Then don't compare it to the SEC. Well, they're not going to win the national championship. They're probably not. Probably not. But you know what? Someone's going to win the Big 12 championship. I have that on good authority. And it's probably not going to be the team you expected in August. And that's a beautiful thing. Brigham Young was confident coming into this game. At quarter, I don't think people knew it, but that BYU quarterback had been banged up last week, and they thought that he was a lot better yesterday, and they thought they matched up. One thing they couldn't afford is Arizona State having a fast start and them turning the ball over. And they did both of those things, and Arizona State took advantage of it. And, wow, what a story. It's two of the best stories in college football going against each other yesterday, and it was a pleasure to be able to stand on the sideline there and get a mild sunburn, knowing full well the rest of my friends were in Columbus, Ohio, freezing. Director Colin is rolling exclusive video from the iJosh right now. Kenny Dillingham, little sus on the late game decision making, and I would tell him that, and I did. But look at that, a Hail Mary falls short, 3 yards short. And here comes the second field storming in about 20 minutes. Crazy scene. Most of you watched it on TV. We are so accustomed to this. I don't know how many field stormings this is for us. Maybe 1 million. Who knows? But I'm always there in the trenches. Imagine being in a suite watching this. Management gets to watch that sort of thing from the bird's eye view. No, we're down there in the trenches taking grenades because that's our people. That's where we always grew up wanting to be. No one grows up wanting to be in the suite. You want to be on the field. So we grew up, and we got the opportunity. And so we're on the field, and Arizona State treated us well. Joe Conley, strength and conditioning, probably talked to that guy for like a combined 5 hours this week, and he turned that weight room over to us 2 days in a row. So we appreciate it, man.